Imagine walking through the sands of Egypt and stumbling upon a secret hidden for over 2.5 millennia. What if I told you that just happened? Archaeologists have just unearthed an entire city of the dead at Saqqara, and the discoveries are rewriting everything we thought we knew about ancient Egyptian burial practices. We're not just talking about 1 or 2 tombs. We're talking about hundreds of coffins, mummies with golden tongues, and a mysterious funeral temple dedicated to a queen no one had ever heard of. This isn't a movie plot. This is real life, happening right now. So, grab your virtual explorer's hat, because today, we're journeying deep beneath the desert to uncover the secrets of Saqqara's newly found necropolis. You won't believe what they found inside. For thousands of years, the Saqqara Plateau, just south of Cairo, has been a treasure trove for Egypt. It served as the main burial ground for the ancient capital of Memphis, and is home to the famous Step Pyramid of Djoser, the world's oldest stone building. But even with centuries of excavation, Saqqara was holding on to its biggest secrets. Recently, a team of Egyptian archaeologists, led by the renowned Dr. Zahi Hawass, began digging in an area near the pyramid of King Teti, a pharaoh from the 6th dynasty. They were looking for his long-lost mortuary temple. But what they found was so much more. Layer by layer, the sand gave way to a staggering sight. A network of burial shafts, some plunging as deep as 40 feet into the earth. At the bottom of these shafts were burial chambers, untouched and sealed since the New Kingdom and the Late Period, spanning from the 16th century BC all the way to the 4th century BC. This was a massive, multi-generational cemetery, a true city of the dead for common people, high-ranking officials, and even royalty. The initial announcement was mind-blowing: 59 sealed wooden coffins. But that was just the beginning. As they continued to explore, the number climbed to over 100, then 250. Each one beautifully painted with intricate hieroglyphs and divine imagery, their colors as vibrant as the day they were sealed. Let's talk about these coffins, because they are absolutely stunning. Unlike the plain stone sarcophagi you might picture, these are wooden anthropoid coffins, meaning they're shaped like a human body. The details are incredible. You can see the carved faces, the elaborate wigs, the crossed hands holding symbolic scepters. The inscriptions are like a personal ID card for the afterlife, listing the deceased's name, their titles, and prayers to gods like Osiris, the ruler of the underworld, and Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification. Opening these coffins for the first time in millennia, researchers found mummies perfectly preserved, wrapped in linen bandages with protective amulets tucked within the folds. It's an intimate and humbling connection to individuals who lived and died over 3,000 years ago. But the discoveries got even stranger and more fascinating. One of the most talked about finds was a collection of mummies with golden tongues. Yes, you heard that right. During the mummification process, the embalmers had removed the person's real tongue and replaced it with a shining gold foil replica. Why would they do this? The ancient Egyptians believed that this magical golden tongue would allow the deceased to speak to the gods in the afterlife. Imagine standing before Osiris for your final judgment. You'd want to be able to speak, to plead your case, and to recite the spells from the Book of the Dead. This golden tongue was their supernatural microphone, ensuring their voice would be heard in the divine realm. It's a practice that was known from texts, but rarely seen in such numbers, giving us a direct look at how ancient beliefs were put into physical practice. Beyond the coffins, the team unearthed a wealth of funeral artifacts. Think of it as everything you'd need to pack for a journey to eternity. They found hundreds of beautifully crafted statues of deities, including a remarkable bronze statue of Neph, the god of the lotus blossom and perfume, inlaid with precious stones. There were canopic jars, which held the preserved organs of the deceased, as well as shabti figures. Shabtis were small servant figurines that were supposed to magically come to life in the afterlife and do all the manual labor for the deceased. It's like having a divine workforce on call forever. They also found ancient board games, like which was not just a game but also a symbolic representation of the journey through the underworld. Finding a complete Senate board in a tomb is like finding a packed suitcase ready for the ultimate trip. Perhaps the most significant discovery of all was a brand new funeral temple. This wasn't just any temple. It was dedicated to a previously unknown queen named Neith. Her name was found inscribed on the walls of the temple and on an obelisk. This was a bombshell for historians. Queen Neith was the wife of King Teti, the very pharaoh whose pyramid started this whole excavation. For centuries, her name was lost to history, but now she has been rediscovered. Finding a new historical figure, especially a queen, is incredibly rare. This discovery adds a new, powerful woman to the family tree of Egyptian royalty and opens up a whole new chapter in the history of the 6th dynasty. Archaeologists are now studying her temple to understand her role and influence during a pivotal time in Egyptian history. The team also uncovered something straight out of a horror movie, but with a fascinating historical twist. The Curse of the Pyramid. They found a 13-foot-long papyrus scroll, a copy of the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead is essentially an ancient Egyptian guidebook to the afterlife, filled with spells and incantations to help the deceased navigate the dangers of the underworld and achieve eternal life. This particular scroll is one of the longest and most complete ever found at Saqqara. It's like finding the original, unabridged instruction manual for immortality. The spells cover everything from repelling crocodiles to passing the weighing of the heart ceremony, where your heart was weighed against the feather of truth. If your heart was heavy with sin, it would be devoured by a monster. If it was light, you'd be granted eternal life. This scroll provides an invaluable resource for understanding these core beliefs. What makes these discoveries so important? Firstly, the sheer scale of it. We're not just looking at the tombs of pharaohs, but at a cross-section of society. The variety of burials, from simple pits to elaborate coffins, shows us how people from different social classes prepared for death. Secondly, the state of preservation is unparalleled. Because these tombs were untouched, we have a pristine snapshot of the exact moment they were sealed. The colors, the artifacts, the mummies themselves, they are all perfectly preserved, free from looting and decay. This allows for advanced scientific analysis. Using CT scans, researchers can digitally unwrap the mummies without damaging them, revealing their age, health, cause of death, and even what their faces looked like. This continuous stream of discoveries at Saqqara is transforming our understanding of the New Kingdom and the late period. It shows that Saqqara was an even more important and active burial site for a longer period than previously thought. It wasn't just an old kingdom site that fell out of use. It was a thriving, bustling city of the dead for centuries upon centuries. Every new coffin opened, every inscription deciphered, adds a new name, a new story, a new piece to the grand puzzle of ancient Egypt. It's a powerful reminder that history is not a static story written in books. It's a living, breathing field of discovery, with major secrets still buried right beneath our feet. The work at Saqqara is far from over. Archaeologists believe that what they've uncovered so far is just a tiny fraction of what's still waiting to be found. They've only excavated about 30% of the site, which means the potential for future discoveries is immense. Who knows what other lost queens, powerful officials, or mysterious rituals are waiting in the darkness, ready to be brought into the light. This is a golden age for Egyptology, driven by Egyptian archaeologists on their own soil, and it's happening in real time. We are living through a period that will be written about in the history books of the future. The sands of Saqqara have spoken, and they have so many more stories to tell. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey to Saqqara's city of the dead. It's truly mind-boggling to think about what else is down there. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the ancient world. And I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think is the most amazing discovery from Saqqara? Let me know in the comments below. See you in the next video.